Hello, it's Charles with Uber Eats. Today is Sunday, July 5th, 2026, and I am blessed and grateful because I received that precious gift of tomorrow with God's wake-up call, and I got to see another day here in beautiful, sunny, warm, tropical Tampa, Florida. And you also received that precious gift of tomorrow with God's wake-up call, and you got to see another day here on earth. That gift of tomorrow most definitely is a precious gift to receive because not everybody got God's wake-up call this morning and got to see another day here on earth. So I, for one, am most definitely blessed and feel grateful to the good Lord for allowing me another day here on earth. God is good. God is great, always and always. And I'm blessed to have Jesus Christ in my life. I love Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is my Savior, my Redeemer, and my Advocate. Blessed to have Him, and I'm blessed for everything God has given me. I'm relatively healthy for a 50-year-old guy. I've got a safe place to sleep in that camper every night. And God has put me here in this time and place here in Tampa, Florida, where the weather is fantastic. I get to enjoy delicious food anytime, anywhere I want. And I'm able to build a fantastic, profitable Uber Eats business where I've got all the work I can handle. And I'm able to save up for all my future needs, both foreseen and unseen, such as a car that I'll need to buy next year, future vacations, and my future retirement. And I can afford to live just in general with my rent, food, clothes, car insurance, gas, upkeep on my car, and just general cost of getting by here in Tampa, Florida. So very blessed and fortunate that God has put me here in this time and place. God is good. God is great, always and always. I had a fantastic day yesterday. Really enjoyed my coffee at the McDonald's yesterday. And I managed to get in another 20 trips on this 60 trip quest that I'm on. So if I can get in 20 trips today, I'll make an extra $157. And the weather was just beautiful all day yesterday. There was a light breeze, the sun was out, and it was warm, not too hot, and just a beautiful day all around. And I enjoyed a delicious meal at that halal food truck last night. I didn't get a discount this time around, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting one. I wasn't expecting one yesterday, and I got one. And I had a fantastic night's sleep in that camper. So just a perfect day all around. And my on-time score has gotten better. It's up to 83% now, and it had gotten as low as 80%. I was concerned early on in the day that my on-time percent was going to suffer because my day didn't start off good. With one of my customers. It was a Starbucks customer, and I communicated with her when I got to the Starbucks and to tell her that they were still preparing her drinks. No response, and there was no sign that she even read my message. I can see on my end whether or not they look at the message or not, and she didn't look at it, didn't respond to my message. So I'm sitting there waiting, and then I text her again when I'm leaving the Starbucks, and still no response. So I get to her address, and I don't remember the number anyway, but if I did remember it, I wouldn't recite it here. But her house number was something like 3622, such and such. And I pull up there, and I look at my phone again. I could tell on the map that I was in front of her house. There were several houses on this cul-de-sac, but I was in front of her house based on the map. And I look at my phone again to make sure I'm in front of 3622. And I look at the house and it says 3622. So I walk up to the door, and it's one of those drop-offs where you need the customer's PIN number. So you have to interact with the customer. And I always type to the customer that I've arrived, and then I type in their house number so they can't say I wasn't there. They can't claim that I went to the wrong house. So I always type that in, and Uber Eats can see all of our text correspondence. If they need to research anything that goes on during a delivery, they can look in and see text messages that were sent back and forth. And that goes for phone calls too. All phone calls are recorded. Well, I get up to the house to drop off the Starbucks, and I need the PIN number. So I'm knocking on the door. I knocked on the door several times, and somebody it looked like a kid opened up the window, the blinds on the window to look out to see who was there, and then closed them, you know. And I waited, assuming that he was going to go get his mom or dad to come answer the door. He never did that. No one ever came to the door. So I rang the doorbell. Well, I'm at the door a good 5 or 6 minutes before anybody opened the door. And the guy finally came to the door. He said, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Well, I'm delivering your Starbucks." And I handed it to him, and he took it, but he left the door open. I said, "I need the PIN number." He says, "I don't have a PIN number." I said, "Well, is there an Ann here?" He said, "There's no Ann. No Ann lives here." So I took the bag back. I didn't get the impression that he was going to try to steal it. He just took it off my hands because I offered it to him. And I said, "No Ann lives here, and you don't have any roommates named Ann." And he said, "No, it's just me and my boy here, you know." I said, "I'm sorry to bother you, but I was concerned that he was thinking I was some kind of creep, you know, trying to pull something shady." So I showed him on my phone. I said, "Hey, I am an Uber Eats driver. Here's the app." And I showed him. I said, "See that? That's your address, isn't it?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, that's why I'm knocking on your door. I apologize for bothering you, but I assumed you had a Starbucks delivery." I said, "I got to go back out to my car for a little bit. I'll be parked out in front of your house until I figure this out, you know." So I went back to my car, and I had already been at this location at this point maybe 8 minutes at least, probably closer to 10 minutes. So I get back out to my car, and I start texting Uber support to figure out what to do, because I've never had anything specifically like this happen to me before, where I've been sent to the wrong address entirely and nobody by that name lives there. So I got on to Uber Eats, texting them to find out what to do. And it seemed like initially I was texting with a robot, an AI person, you know, wasn't a real person, because their responses weren't making any sense with what I was asking them. So I kept typing back and forth, and then they finally put me through texting with a real person, and I could tell I was texting with a human being. And she told me to get back into my phone, that I needed to either drop the food off there at the location or dispose of it. I said, "Well, I'm not going to leave the Starbucks at someone's house that it doesn't belong to." I texted him. I said, "I guess I'll throw it away." And I said, what do I need to put into my phone as a reason? Because none of those reasons applied to my situation. You know, they give you like 6 or 7 circumstances that will explain what you're doing. None of those fit my circumstance. Well, I'm on the phone at least for another 5 or 6 minutes, you know, trying to figure this out. And then a woman walks out and waves from the next house over to the left, is waving at me. I opened my door. I said, "Can I help you?" She goes, "Yeah, I've got an order." I said, "What's your name?" And she said, Anna or Ann, I can't remember which. And I said, "Okay, and I grabbed the Starbucks and I walk up. I said, "You put the wrong," she's a Mexican woman or a Cuban woman, Spanish speaker, but she spoke English well enough to understand what I could understand her and she could understand me. But I said, "You put in the wrong address," and she acted like she was confused. She wasn't confused. She knew I was parked in front of her neighbor's house. She knew what she had done, and she could see in the app that she put the wrong address in. She knows numbers, you know. Spanish numbers are the same as English numbers when you write them down. And I looked at her. I said, "Well, here's your Starbucks. I got to get going. I need the PIN number." And she looked at me confused again. I said, "I need this number, a 4-digit number," and I showed it on my phone. And then she looked at her phone. And when she showed me her phone, she showed me the phone to see if I could figure out the number. My texting is all on there. She saw that I was texting her, and it's not a language barrier problem. She just was choosing not to respond to me, because you can hit translate on there, and it translates everything from English to Spanish if you want. So she was blatantly, rudely ignoring me, and was gonna just let me sit there forever. Until I drove off or started walking around trying to figure out where to go. It was just, that really irritated me, that she just let me waste my time. First of all, put the wrong address in the phone, and then let me sit out there. She knew I was out there waiting, trying to figure out where to go, because I from my texting, you know. I got the Starbucks delivered, and I had no glitches or problems the rest of the day. Just started out with a frustrating day. Surprisingly, that did not impact my on-time delivery score. It continues to go up, so I'm happy about that. I went back in to the app because I never closed out when that lady came out. I never closed out that chat conversation I was having with Uber support. I went back in to try to tell them that everything was resolved, but I couldn't find the conversation we were having. It was gone. So I'm assuming the tech Uber Eats support closed that out on there, and that's why I couldn't find our our conversation we were having. But anyway, the time this Sunday morning, is 4:50 a.m. And according to the website weather-atlas.com, the sun will rise today at 6:38 a.m. That's 1 hour and 48 minutes from now. And then the sun will set later on this evening at 8:30 p.m. So today, Tampa will enjoy over 13 hours and 52 minutes of daylight. Also, when I got back to the camper, I checked out my scores on the app to see if anybody had responded to my survey. And it looks like one person gave me a review, and they gave me a 5-star review. Again, I like those. I like seeing any movement in these numbers, especially if I get movement in all 5 numbers. That's fantastic. My Deliver with Care score went up 1 to 842. My Friendly score went up 1 to 746. My Quick and Efficient went up 1 to 728. Good Communicator went up 1 to 725, and my Perfect Handoff score is now at 705. So all in all, great results from yesterday. Very pleased with everything that happened for me yesterday, even though the day started out a little bit rough with that customer, Ann. And I also this morning checked out the Powerball website to see if any of my numbers hit on the drawing that was held Saturday, July 4th. And I did not hit a single number. And according to the website, no one hit anything on the Powerball. There was no match 5 numbers, no double play winners, or no jackpot winners from last night. So with the number that came in, 17, 38, 46, 50, 69, and the Powerball 20 for the Powerball drawing Saturday, July 4th, 2026. And no one hitting it, that means tomorrow, July 6th, the jackpot is going up to 416 million. So I need to make sure I play another set of my numbers today or tomorrow before the drawing tomorrow night. And I play 14, 22, 25, 37, 49, and the Powerball of 23. I'm sitting outside here in my car at my favorite pump at the Circle K. And I've been inside already, and I got my free cup of ice in my McDonald's cup. See that free ice? And I've been on to the Gas Buddy website and the AAA website so I can compare the price of gas at this Circle K with the average price of gas in Florida and the average price of gas in the United States. And with gas at this Circle K continuing to go down, it's down 7 cents since Friday, and it's down another 3 cents just since yesterday. It's down to 3.66. So with AAA and Gas Buddy reporting that the average price of gas in Florida is down 2 cents since yesterday to 3.76, and the average price of gas in the United States is down a penny since yesterday. It's down to 3.80. That means this Circle K is cheaper. It's better than the Florida state average by 10 cents, and it's cheaper than the national average by over 14 cents. So this Circle K is a better, more favorable place to buy gas for prices and its selection of snacks and drinks. And of course, since it's Sunday, I'm having this green tea flavor of the Monster Rehab, Revive, Refresh, Recover. See that green tea? And with today being July 5th of 2026, and it's hard to make out the print on here. It's really small and off to the side, but it says J2530. And J is the 10th letter of the alphabet. So that means this can was made October the 30th of last year. So you've got November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That's 9 months. So this is a screwy way to say it, but in 25 days, this can will be 9 months old. That's not a good way to say it, but that's correct. Or I could say November, you got November, December, and then you got 8 months. I could also say this can is 8 months and 6 days old. Another way to put it. Well, either way, it's a fresh can. I'm gonna get it cracked open here and see what we got. See if this green tea is any good on ice. It all went perfect. I know it will be. This is because this is my favorite flavor. Oh boy, that's delicious. That's a fantastic drink. Good stuff. I'm still not relying on that website, weather-atlas.com, for the weather, because I found out it puts out bad information in terms of the weather forecast, at least for here in Tampa. It gave me bad information, so I'm not going to rely on it anymore. But I did check out a couple YouTube pages. I went to 10 Tampa Bay News YouTube, and this video featured meteorologist Bobby Deskins, and it was uploaded 2 days ago, Friday, July 3rd. Bobby Deskins said that showers and storms early Sunday along the coast of Tampa Bay, with a 50% probability of rain across central Florida, Tampa Bay, Florida. It's going to get hot, he said, this week. 92, a high of 92 on Wednesday and Thursday, and 94 on Friday. And we're going to see the next 2 weeks, we're going to see highs in the mid 90s, according to meteorologist Bobby Deskins. He went on to assure us in Tampa that there's no tropical storm development, according to the weather models, in the next 7 days. So no threat of tropical storms or hurricanes in the next 7 days. That gets us, with this video being uploaded on the 3rd, that gets us through July 10th. So we're good through July 10th for hurricanes. We're going to see a high of 91 and a low of 81 today here in Tampa, Florida. So it's going to be another nice warm day in Tampa this Sunday, July 5th. And then I checked out what meteorologist Dave Osterberg had to say on Fox 13 Tampa Bay YouTube. This video was uploaded Friday, July 3rd. Dave Osterberg said the chance of rain and storms continue to increase through the weekend, and especially on Sunday, because of the winds shifting from the wind shifting to the southeast. He said because the dew points are in the mid 70s, it's making it quite humid here in Tampa, Florida. He sees a high of 91 and a low of 80 degrees today is what he predicted, and a 50% probability of rainfall. So I can expect to see some rain today. I thought I would see rain yesterday, but I didn't see a bit of rain. But according to the forecast, with how widespread the rain they were predicting, I should have saw some, but I didn't. So I may not see any today. It's hard to tell. And then I went on to the YouTube Tampa Bay 28. This video, YouTube video, featured meteorologist Allie Blake, and it was uploaded Friday, July 3rd. Allie explained that over the week, in thunderstorms and lightning isolated with interior parts of Tampa Bay getting the bulk and most threat of these thunderstorms and lightning. She went on to say that the tropics are quiet right now. The Gulf and the Atlantic are very calm, and there's no threat of tropical development in the next 7 days, according to Allie Blake. And that gets us through July 10th. She said it's going to get up to 94 degrees today. That's 3 degrees warmer than what Dave Osterberg said, with a low of 79 degrees and a 50% probability of rain. So her forecast is more or less similar, if not the same as what Dave Osterberg said. She's just predicting it to be a slightly bit warmer here in Tampa. And then I checked out what Max Defender meteorologist Amanda Hawley had to say about the weather on YouTube, WFLA News Channel 8. And this, I didn't write down what time, I don't write down when this video was uploaded, but she had a segment on the Perseid meteor shower that's coming up. She was talking about the Perseid, Perseid meteor shower that's starting July 17th and runs through August 24th, but it peaks August 12th and August 13th. She said it's best viewed before dawn on those 2 dates, August 12th and August 13th, and we'll see as many as 100 meteors an hour during that time frame if we watch it during the nighttime, just before dawn. She went on to say that she forecasts showers are to be scattered along the inland portions of Tampa Bay and sparse, very little rainfall along the coastline, according to Amanda Hawley. She said we'll see a high of 91 and a low of 78 today with a 60% chance of rain. So she's predicting wider spread rain today than the other two forecasts that I watched. And then, of course, I wrote down all the deliveries I completed yesterday, along with the tips. And I had 18 trips and I delivered to 20 customers. So that means I had 2 doubles along the way. And 16 singles. I started out the day delivering a double to Jay and Ann. That was the customer. Ann was the customer I had difficulty with. And so she was the first half of that. Ann and Jay wanted Starbucks on Bruce B. Downs. They tipped me $8.71 and I earned a fare of $2. So I made $10.71 for delivering Jay and Ann's Starbucks orders. Thank you so much for those tips and fares, Ann and Jay. Really appreciate you. Then I went on to pick up trips 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Ashley, Ian, Cece, and Kirk. Ashley wanted Einstein Brothers Bagels on East Fowler. She gave me a tip of $8 and a penny. Thank you so much for that, Ann. Ian tipped me $5 through the app for delivering Einstein Brothers Bagels on East Fowler. Just like Ashley. I went right back to Einstein Brothers Bagels after I left Ashley's house. And then when I got to Ian's house, he gave me $3 in cash. I just remembered why they did that. I had another, this wasn't as frustrating as the Ann situation, but when I went to pick up Ian's Einstein Brothers Bagels order, I asked the lady, I said, is it all here? Because it was a large order and it didn't seem to be all there. I said, everything's here for this customer. And she looked at the receipt and she said, yep, sure is. Well, I get to Ian's house and they said I went back out to my car. I was about to leave to figure out, if I had another delivery, and I was getting everything set up for that to leave. And the lady came out and was hollering at me. She said, it's not all here. Hold on, And I got out of my car and she said, I'm missing 2 tubs. I remember one of them was a plain, that cream cheese that you put on the bagels. It was plain cream cheese, and another one was a spicy jalapeno. It was a jalapeno in there. So 2 of those, she was missing her cream cheese. I said, I'll go back and get it. I need to have your address. What street are you on here? I looked it up and I couldn't see a street anywhere, a street sign. So I said, I need your address and your phone number, and in case I have any questions, I can reach out to you. And she gave me that, and I left. And I was supposed to be on my way to Felicia's Coffee House, but it was mapping me there, but I said, if I'm gonna go get this Einstein Brothers Bagels thing straightened out, and then I'll get it back to her house, and then I'll take care of this order. If it drops me, I assumed that I would lose that order, because if you don't get on your way to a delivery fast enough, if you're not showing that you're driving there, it'll just take it away from you. It never did. So that tells me there wasn't very many Uber Eats drivers out yesterday morning delivering, because they didn't take it away from me. But I got that all sorted out. And when I got back with her cream cheese, she gave me an extra $3 in cash. So that's why she did that. But I do appreciate it. I wasn't expecting more of a tip, but I really appreciate that extra $3, Ian. And then I went on to pick up CC's. I'm not sure how to say this, but it's Felicitous, Felicitas Coffee House on North 51st Street. CC gave me almost a $5 tip, $4.98. Thank you so much for that tip, CC. And then Kirk was trip 5. Kirk gave me a big tip, $9.52 for delivering Tropical Smoothie Cafe on East Fowler. Thank you so much for those tips and fares, Kirk, CC, Ian, and Ashley. Really appreciate you. You were all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. Then he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to somebody that honked at him. I went on to pick up trips 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 for Aston, Mira, Nathan, Marley, and Hillary. Aston tipped me $4.82 for picking up Cracker Barrel on Cove Bend. Mira tipped me $2.73 for picking up La Bahia Bakery. On East Bears Avenue, Bearss Avenue. And then Nathan was trip 8. Nathan tipped me $5.15 for picking up Moe's Southwest Grill on Paseo Drive. Marley was trip 9. Marley tipped me $4.60 for picking up McDonald's on North 56th. And then Hillary was trip 10. Hillary was very generous, gave me a big tip, $10 tip for delivering Pho QN on East Fowler. Thank you so much for those tips, Hillary, Marley, Nathan, Myra, and Aston. I really appreciate all of you. You're all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. If it weren't for my customers and my how busy I am with all my deliveries here in Tampa, I wouldn't be able to afford to live and get by with my rent, car insurance, and all my expenses. And I'm able to put money aside for my future needs. So very blessed and fortunate to be here. God is good. God is great. Always and always. After dropping off Hillary's Pho QN, PHOQUYEN order, I went on to pick up trips 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 for Ree, Dalton. 13 was the double for Jeanette and Taiwan. 14 was for, I can't hardly make that out, Pierre. And then 15 was for Delhi. Ree tipped me. Ree was a courier saver, and I normally don't get tips for courier savers. I just get the fare, but Ree actually tipped me for that courier saver. I didn't know I could get tips, but now I do. $7 tip for Ree's package delivery. Thank you so much for that, Ree. Dalton tipped me $3 for delivering Subway sandwiches from Palm River Road. Jeanette and Taiwan were that double. Jeanette wanted Lemongrass Thai Kitchen on Bloomingdale Avenue, and the second half of that double was for Taiwan. Taiwan wanted Outback Steakhouse on Brandon Boulevard. Their fare was $2, and they tipped me $14.11, so I made $16.11 for delivering that double to Jeanette and Taiwan. Thank you so much for that generous over $14 tip. That might have been my best paying trip of the day. I got to factor in that $3 cash tip, but yeah, it looks like it was. That was my best paying trip of the day. So thank you so much for that tip, Jeanette and Jeanette and Taiwan. Then after dropping off Taiwan's Outback order, I went on trip 14 for Pierre. Pierre tipped me $11.39 for delivering Lemongrass Thai Kitchen. I went right back to Lemongrass Thai Kitchen for Pierre. Got $11.39 tip. Thank you so much for that, Pierre. And then trip 15 was Deli. Deli tipped me $3 for delivering McDonald's from East Bloomingdale. Thank you so much for those tips and fares. Deli, Pierre, Taiwan, Jeanette, Dalton, and Ree. You were all very thoughtful, kind, and generous. Then I wrapped up the day with 3 more deliveries for Bruce, Susan, and Jameson. Bruce tipped me $4.05 for delivering tropical smoothie from the store on Bloomingdale Boulevard. Susan was generous, very kind, gave me a big tip, $9.22 tip for delivering Bubba Q's Barbecue on Brandon Boulevard. And then Jameson was my last run of the day. Jameson wanted pizza from West Shore Pizza on Lithia Pinecrest. Jameson tipped me $3.20. Thank you so much for that generous $3 tip, Jameson, and thank you for your tips, Susan and Bruce. Really appreciate all of you. I appreciate all my customers that I had yesterday. Blessed and fortunate to be here in this time and place. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. God bless you all. I hope you all are having a fantastic weekend, and I hope you all had a great 4th of July. I certainly did. God bless you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day and have a great upcoming week.